Today is Thursday, October 8th, 2020, and so therefore, we have the Pro and Con show for Thursday, and I'm your host, Michael James Ott. And as always, welcome to the show. So, trying to encourage people to be better citizens, throwing these little stories, these little short 10, 15, 20-minute videos out there in the hope that they will cause people to watch and think a little bit about things being better. Einstein, I'm pretty sure, is attributed to saying something like the very definition of insanity is doing something over and over again and expecting a different outcome. And we have been using the two-party system in this country for a couple centuries now. It's failing us miserably, even more so than it has in past decades. And it's time to make a change, because the very definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So this is actually the first part of a series. I'm going to talk about this potential constitutional amendment. And this concept I'm calling, for lack of a better name, citizen statesman. And I've talked about this off and on for many shows in the past. I've mentioned it here and there. But now that the number of shows that I'm doing is winding down toward my final show on November 3rd, 2020, I want to make sure I cover some of the most important things that issues and things that I've talked about over the past, 400, 500 shows that I've done. And this amendment is by far probably the most important thing to talk about, and hence why I'm going to spend some quality time, if you will, talking about the citizen statesman concept and how, kind of fleshing through how it might be implemented, and and hopefully then giving people a better feel for why that it would make sense and why they would want to fairly aggressively, I hope, get out there in the public and start, trying to push us toward getting something like this. So this first show is just an overview. And the 28th Amendment is I'm proposing is about candidacy. Okay. It is not a rewrite of the structure of government. We still have a president, we still have a Supreme Court, we still have the House and the Senate. All of that remains in place, and the vast majority of how all of it runs remains in place. What changes is we're going to implement a much better idea. This is not my idea. This is the idea, culmination and an amalgam of the ideas of multiple people that I've spoken to over the last 2 or 3 years. And it is this idea that, the structure of government is good. The problem is we're putting bad people in that structure. And why are we putting bad people in the structure? Because the political party system and the wealthy, influential people that run the political parties, it all is it's prone to corruption and prone to influence and prone to manipulation and prone to bribery and all these others, all the bad artifacts. And then, the election process that we have, with all of the thumping from going from state to state and eating a hot dog at every county fair and all of the television stuff and appearing on news shows and on and on and on. It all lends itself to candidates who would be king. There's no normal person, no person like you or I would go through the gauntlet of, making it through all of this public scrutiny, especially the very the very abrasive, caustic, corrosive environment of all the different partisan news, so-called news outlets, and so on, that are all constantly attacking and stuff like that. The only people that would even be willing to bear themselves through this are, one, people probably not that intelligent, and two, people who would be king. And so what we really need is some high quality people that they're what I call reluctant leaders. They're people who are quite capable, intelligent, capable, honest, law-abiding, interested in seeking the best of people, compassionate folks. In short, maybe someone like you. But you don't ever get there because of the current way that we identify and elect candidates. So this 28th Amendment is all about changing that. And so I'm not going to read again. I think I'll go into this, and I'll take and post the current variation of this proposed amendment in with this video when I post it. But so this first video on what I call Statesman, and there's going to be a handful of others where we talk about like the step-by-step procedure in some detail, and at least kind of how I envision it would happen. Actually going forward, it might happen in some different way. And at all times, I'm completely open, and I've made many changes to this over the course of time, having conversations with people and saying, that's actually this fellow over here or this person over here has had a better idea. We should, tweak this. And so I've amended my amendment, edited my amendment multiple times, our amendment multiple times to get it where it is. But basically, the overview is that we would have a national amendment, and that amendment would actually be pretty darn detailed, talking about how candidates are identified and then elected to public office, and some kind of the overall imperatives is the right word, the overall imperatives that they would have as office holders in our government. And so again, the structure, very similar, president, vice president, senators, House of Representatives, Supreme Court justices, all those kinds of things, but now with better people filling all of those roles. And so it would be, and one of the main things that's most important about this concept is kind of this light bulb moment that I had when one of my colleagues said this thing. It's like, it should be like jury duty. And so I had been talking about, we should have this national secure system where the various candidates, would be inputting their information in there, and it would be all very standardized. There'd be very strict rules on what they can and cannot post and all this other kind of stuff. And, the formats of it and basically get all the money out of it and all of the political influence of whatever political parties. and just have this thing, and then it's very secure. The security is monitored continuously by committees in the House of Representatives who would be in charge of making sure that the system would have very high security around it, so that we could eliminate this danger of foreign governments or other bad actors, foreign or domestic, from influencing this. And then this fellow said, "Oh, it should be like jury duty." And so I was like, "Oh, he's right. We should, just like jury duty, we should cast a wide net and of potential." This is the candidate pool. So on the jury duty side, it's the jury pool, and on the candidate side, it's the candidate pool. And then there would be this phased approach, which I'll go through in subsequent shows here in short order, where we would, step by step screen these folks, us, your neighbors and friends. We would screen each other to try to find the best of us from that initial random pool. And that's the basic part of it. And at some point you have final elections, and then those people serve. And they serve one time, just like a jury. You serve, and then you go home. Okay? So this is part one of the Statesman series. In the next part, we'll start talking about some of the details around the first phase, which is this casting this wide net and putting them, getting them into the system, and what some of that might look like. Okay, so stay tuned for the next show and the next phase of the Citizen Statesman program. All right, Michael James Out is my name. The Pro and Con Show is the name of the show. And until the next show, bye for now.